All right, so I want to take a couple minutes and talk with you a little bit about where we're headed. We've talked about over the last few weeks how we're growing, which is awesome, and we're trying to figure out how to manage that best. And we're working on 2 services, and so we got together with some of the ministry team leaders for the Sunday morning ministries last weekend, and kind of talk with them and tried to get things processing and going. Okay, how are we taking these steps, and what's next? So one of the things I shared with them was this. A growing family requires sacrifice. But it also comes with joy. Here's what I mean by that. I come from a family of 5. My brother has 5. I have 4 kids. We're used to, especially I'm the oldest of my family's group, so we're used to that news that Mom's having another baby. In fact, I remember one time my brother, my older brother, not older, but he's right below me, David and I, we were sitting in the living room, and my mom was standing in the kitchen like this, and I go, "You know what that look means?" He goes, "What?" And I go, "That means we got a baby coming." He goes, "No." I said, "You wait, I'm calling it. Mom never holds her back unless there's a baby in there." And I was right. And guys, every time there's a baby coming in the family, it's like, how are we going to do this? My brother, he's got 5 right now, like I said, and they have a minivan. That's every seat in a minivan, right? Every seat has a car seat in it. Every seat. And so I was talking to him the other day. I was like, "Tom, what happens if you guys get pregnant again?" He goes, We got to buy a different vehicle. We're moving up to the 10, 15 passenger range now. And I go, "Yep." He said, "Yeah, I don't know." So, but it's like, well, those are just things you got to do. And I remember when my youngest sister my sister was born, there was 3 of us upstairs. We had, 3 bedrooms upstairs, and there was a nursery. And so then we find out Deborah's coming. I'm 7 years old, and my parents go, "Well, Dan, we're trying to figure out where we're going to put Deborah. We need to put her in the nursery. There's not really room in the other bedroom for 3 boys. What do you think about moving down to the basement? You'll get your own room." It was the biggest room in the house. I was like, "I like that." He goes, "Now, you're going to be down there alone." I don't like that. So I'm like, I have dreams about the things that live in the basement, And so there was a little bit of intrepidation, like there's going to be some loss that takes place if I move down to the basement. And we set up some strategies, and we made our best, and we put an intercom from my headboard to my dad's nightstand, so if I got scared, I could say, "Dad, I just heard a noise." And I remember so many times he'd be like, "Okay, get your flashlight out." I'm like, "Okay, I got it." "Okay, put the lock button on so that I can hear you." "Okay, now go see what it is." Yeah. And I went. And it was the sump pump. And then the next week it was the furnace. And then it was the air. It was like, it was the dishwasher was running, So, there was some difficulties. There was some challenges to being a growing family. And there always will be. But there's also joys. When you add that youngest kid to the family, and then you process a couple years out, you go, "We would never go back." Have there been sacrifices? Yes. Does everyone have a smaller college account? Yes. But you would never say, "I don't want that person in our family." You would never say that. Even though there may have been some huge challenges that came along with it. So there are challenges to growing. There's sacrifices that get made, but there's joy that comes as well. I want to ask you this question. I asked our team this. Why do we have kids? They're expensive. Good night, they're expensive. Right? Their work. They have needs at the worst times. It's like you just sat down on the toilet and there's 4 people banging on the door. I need you now. Right? So you got all these negatives. Why do we do it? I don't think we're crazy. Yeah, they're a blessing. Why else? We're going to have to do some teaching on this. Yeah. Okay, they're a gift from God. Yes. They're going to take care of us later. Yes. 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 Okay, share the workload. Yeah, that was especially true more in biblical times. I think one of the biggest reasons people have kids is because they care about the future. You know, when people lose a child, they say their future died. You know, when a child dies young, they'll say my future died. When you lose your parents, they say you lose your past. When you lose a child, you lose your future. Wow, that's such a reality. And if there's anyone here that's lost a child, you know that pain. So that's why we have them, is we want to invest something into the future. We care about what the future looks like. Guys, that's why we want to keep making sacrifices to grow as a church. We care about what the future looks like. Why do you teach your kids something? Because you want them to grow up to be healthy, strong warriors in our world. Why do we make sacrifices as a church? Why would we keep squeezing in tight every week and parking 4 blocks away and trudging through snow? Because we want to make a difference in the world. We want to make disciples. We want to bring people to Christ. We want to matter in God's kingdom. That's why we do it. So when there are difficulties, we go, yeah, this is hard. But we go, it's worth it. And in the future, we know we're going to look back and go, wasn't that great? Wasn't it awesome to see how God worked in that? Isn't it amazing now that we know so-and-so who wasn't even a part of our church way back when, but now they're like my best friend? That's what happens as we keep moving forward. There's sacrifices, but there's joys. So I know we're going to keep seeing challenges, and I'm convinced there's going to be joys down the road. And we'll have relationships and we'll have experiences that we would never want to give up. We would never say, oh, yeah, we would be all right without them. No, we'll never be okay without them. So here's what's coming. Here's what we're working on. In going to 2 services, we're looking at 2 identical services on Sunday morning, completely identical, children's ministry, everything, at either 9:15 and 11 or 9:30 and 11:15. Now, why do we not have that time nailed down yet? Because we want to poll you and figure out what's going to be the best times to get us somewhat equal services. Okay? If we have 150 at one service and 5 people at the other, this does not help. It doesn't help with the parking lot. It doesn't help with the children's ministry overflowing. It doesn't help with the sanctuary. It doesn't help at all. So we got to try and find what's this balance point. And we kicked around some other service times earlier, a little bit later, and basically we felt like these are probably going to be right in the sweet spot of what we're going to be most likely to get people to come and participate in. So if you have some really strong opinion on something else, like you really want a 6 a.m. service that you can attend alone, come talk to me. So, as we're moving forward, here's what we're targeting. We're targeting January 10th as the first time to have these 2 services. Now, there's a lot to do between now and then, but that's kind of our objective, okay? January 10th. January statistically has been one of the biggest times of growth for us as a church. Usually September and January, boom, we grow. So if we grow now in January and we don't have 2 services, you're going to be sitting on people's laps. So that's part of why we're saying, okay, this is a good time to go there. And then lastly, I just want to say this. We need you. If, as we've been going through these spiritual gifts things, you're going, man, I just really need to find a place to serve. And maybe you just want to try something even. You're going, I'm kind of feeling called to this. I want to give it 3 months and see how something fits. You know, we could use your help with ushers and greeters, children's ministry, hospitality team, helping plan events for getting the church all together at other times besides just Sunday morning, worship team, facility team. If you know how to fix the roof so it doesn't drip on us, that'd be amazing. Yeah, but just literally every ministry that's here, we're going to need more people helping out. We're going to need more hands pitching in. So if God's calling you to something, this is the time to go, all right, I'm going to step up and I'm going to see if this is the right fit for me, and serve for a few months in that capacity. And if it's not, man, some ministry team leader will help you find another spot that's a better fit for you. But you have gifts. How are you using them? And maybe your gift is knowledge or discernment. You don't feel like it fits a certain ministry, but you better be looking for people to minister to. Maybe your gift is pastoring, and you're like, I don't know that I even feel called to, say, pastor in youth ministry, but I can take care of these 10 people. I can check up on them this week and see how their life is going and be able to pray with them. We need you doing that. To stay healthy as a church, we need you using your gifts in the body. So, now I'm going to do the dangerous thing. Any questions? And maybe you just go, I don't understand how this works, or I don't understand how that works, or I hate this, or I love this. I'm so excited. Thank you for doing this. Or you want to just share a comment with the church and try to encourage us because that's a word God's given you. What are your thoughts? Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. Yeah. So she's gone to multiple services before, and it's an adjustment, but after people adjust, they're excited. Yeah.
Those people that you said that maybe looking for a place to serve, how do you want them to get in touch with somebody? How can they get plugged in?
Perfect question. I'm gonna be working with ministry team leaders, and we've got leadership team people lined up to work with ministry team leaders to try and get to where on 2 Sundays from now we'll have a ministry description of every ministry. So you can basically say, okay, I'm interested in such and such. You can grab that, and you'll have the contact person, a basic outline of what that ministry does, and then you can go from there. Does that make sense? And if you have a ministry idea that you're like, man, I really wish we did this, you might be the guy or gal who should be helping get it off the ground. Yeah, Paul? Yes, we're working on that as well to try and get kind of a way to vote. And one of the things we're looking at is trying to do that even some via email. If you don't get email, we'll let you fill out paperwork here. Yeah. But what we'll want to know is, if the service was these 2 times, which one would you attend and how many people are in your family? Does that make sense? Yeah. Any other questions, thoughts, comments, encouragement? Awesome. Yeah, we can go with that. We'll get there. Yeah, yeah. My confidence is not in anything other than it just seems like this is what God is doing, And if God's going there, I want to go there. Is it it's going to be extra work for me too, But I'm okay with that because I want to see what God wants to do. I don't want to be dragging my feet going, when God may have just amazing things in store for us. So hang on, hold on, grab an oar, row with us, and let's see what happens. I think it's going to be pretty amazing. So, hey, thanks for sticking around here for a few minutes. If you can, go quickly to get your kids. If they're going to be part of the Christmas thing, bring them straight up here. I think they're going to be practicing, and we'll see you next Sunday. God bless. All right, so